Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Chess4Life Spotlight, where we meet amazing individuals from around the world, discovering their connections with the game of chess, using it to positively impact their area, their society, their community, individuals all over. I'm your host, Elliott Neff, National Master, founder of Chess4Life, and author of A Pawn's Journey, Transforming Lives One Move at a Time. With me today, I'm excited to have my friend and connection for years, Judit Sztaray. And thank you, Judit, for joining us. So excited to have you on with quite some interesting topics to dive into. So welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited about this.
Absolutely. So to get started, I love to let our audience get to know you a little bit. And so if you don't mind just sharing, where you grew up, where you were born, a bit of your educational background and what led you to the US first, and then we'll talk about the chess connection. Okay, so if you don't mind just jumping right in.
Of course. So I grew up, I was born and raised in Hungary, Budapest, basically, more or less. I'm coming from a family where education and degrees are important. So I entered chemistry. And I was fond of chemistry since elementary school. I was chemistry club and everything. So I went to chemistry, got my master's degree. And right before I got my master's degree, I got married to my husband. We met at the university. He was my TA first year, and then we started dating after that. And he's a chemist as well. So nice. Between the two of us, we share two PhDs. He's physical chemistry. I'm more like analytical and clinical chemistry. I was in chemistry research for 15 years. I did a little bit of cancer research and newborn screening. So it was really fulfilling, and I loved it. We moved to the US right when I have finished my master's degree, and then lived in North Carolina for 2 years. And then went back, and we thought that we're going to live back in Hungary. I had my first daughter there. I started my PhD school at that time. But then after that, it came clear that if we want me to be home with the kids in the beginning of their lifetime, we have to come back to the US. We couldn't really support that in Hungary. And also my husband had really good research opportunities here. So we went back to North Carolina, spent another 2.5 years there, 2 years, and then he got a position at University of the Pacific in Stockton, California. So we moved here almost, it will be 15 years this summer. So we live in Northern California, and we have 3 girls, and that's how we ended up in the US.
That is awesome, Judit. So covering a lot of ground, a lot of education and travel over here to the US. And that's cool. You got three girls. From my knowledge, they're growing up quickly.
They are growing up. One is in university. I'm really proud of her. She's at Oxford studying law, second year. And then we have a freshman in high school who's doing her finals first time in her life right now. And then we have a 7th grader. So
awesome. So with that, I see a direct connection. You're from Hungary. You have 3 girls. There's a very famous chess family, the Polgar sisters, 3 girls from the same country who've done very well in chess. Let's segue here into how did you get involved in chess? Here you are in chemistry background, you and your husband, right? Highly educated there. And yet you've been involved in the chess world. Can you tell us about how you got introduced to the chess world? What captured your interest and why you continue doing chess?
Thank you. And I actually love telling this story because I think it's a great life lesson for every student and every parent as well, that no matter if you find your passion early in life, this can change, and don't be afraid of change, and embrace that, and just do your best and work hard, and you can be excellent in many areas. When you grow up in Hungary, you know chess, like you breathe air and you breathe in chess. So I've seen my grandfather play chess with my brother. We play chess at home, so we know the moves, how the moves. But I was never into competitive chess like the famous Polgar sisters. Yeah. And so when we get to the US, my husband was always playing chess and then everything. But when my daughter was about 4, and this comes the story, I had my second one in Hungary. She was born prematurely, and my husband was already here in the US, traveling from North Carolina to California, and I had my second one in Hungary. And while I was trying to pack the house together and get ready to live with a newborn, a preemie, and the 4-year-old, my 4-year-old said, "Hey, this is a chessboard, and teach me to chess." And I said, "Nope, your father is waiting for that for many years. Let's wait." So basically, when we got to California, Reka, my oldest one, started learning chess, and we played chess at home. We were puzzles. Susan's mating ones, Laszlo's, Susan's father's mating ones was a great help. She had to solve that every day, and her time went shorter and shorter. And then when she was about 6 or 6.5, he said, "Okay, let's try tournaments."
Yeah, let me interrupt here 1 second here. So for those listening who might not be familiar with these resources, and also those who might not be into chess much, when we say mate in ones or things like this, these are puzzles you solve where their checkmate is a 1-move checkmate. Yes. There's the book right there.
And this is the book.
Famous book. 5,334 puzzles and combinations, mates in 1, 2, and 3 moves. I used that book myself. Yeah. I loved using it. I've used it with so many students, and anyone listening, by the way, highly recommend this book. You can get it so many different places, but love these tools, right? So here you are, your daughter's enjoying the game, right? Solving puzzles. Now, first tournament you mentioned, around age 6.5.
Yeah, and so we got into the tournament world, and she enjoys it. Yeah. We start bringing her to tournaments, but at that time I was still at home, stay-at-home mom, and living on one income, and tournaments are expensive. So I started volunteering to earn free entries, and I was people liked that I volunteered. I got to volunteer more and more, and then I started a job as a data scientist at University of Pacific, and this was actually close because data and SQL code and the chess website that at time I was working on, it was very similar. So at one point I was asked if I would like to lead this nonprofit organization, and eventually I said yes. So that's how I became full-time chess. And
so you went from chemist, right, scientists, and then your experience in data, and then your daughter's interest in chess pulling you into the chess field.
Exactly. And it's I think this is the most important lesson, if anyone can draw a conclusion from my life, is don't be afraid of change. Embrace it and just learn and work hard, and then you find your passion and then embrace it. So that's
awesome. So there you go, you get pulled into it. You're doing it starting with your daughters. Now you're interested in doing these things. Let's take a moment here to talk a little bit, because you yourself are not a very strong chess player, is how you've portrayed yourself, right?
Yes.
And yet you have high interest in this field, even beyond your daughter's participating in chess, because they've moved on into other areas, and of course they still have interest. But what is it that makes you so passionate about doing what you're doing now with chess? And it's been a joy, of course, to collaborate with you on various projects over the years, which maybe we'll touch on soon.
Yeah, and it's really great. First of all, I meet many people. I meet lovely, educated, smart, passionate people, and I think passion is one of my pinpoint on all this, because if you have passion for something, then you find those people who are really eager to work and not really lazy. And so it's very nice. I love meeting people. I love collaborating with people. And the other thing is that really chess is so much more than just the board game, right? You can, and I'm the perfect example. Like, I'm not that good at chess. A lot of people try to teach or offer to teach me, and I will take up on their offer. You, Jay Stalling, Paul Whitehead, all want to teach me. But if you don't have time for it, you can still really, really enjoy it and really be good at it. And just pick an area and start getting better and better, and you can achieve basically what you set your mind to. For me, I always knew that my tactic skills were never really that good, and I don't think I can actually improve on that much. So being a good chess player was not a really achievable goal for me, but arbitrating, directing is good, because that's just rules, right? That's basically science. It's almost black and white, or deciding fairly. So that's the direction.
That's awesome. And by the way, if you do have the passion to build your tactics skills, I promise to help you too.
Yes, I know.
I have this belief
need a little bit of time.
Everybody can do these things, right? And it's fascinating. I love digging into problem solving. That's part of what a chess player does, right? So that's awesome. So before we go further into some fun projects that we've done in these elements, what are some of the outcomes or benefits that you see from the game of chess? Because you've obviously done this with your kids. You've supported so many youth for a long time. You've supported girls' chess tournaments, scholastic events, community events. So what are some of the outcomes that make this so meaningful for you?
That's actually a great question, and I love that you are asking this. I think seeing the potentials of bringing out potential in people, helping them achieve their goals, and then after that, it's really offering them quality conditions for players, and really sharpen your mind in terms of problem solving, right? Chess players solve problems on the board. I'm not really good at it. I solve problems during the events, and hopefully no one sees those problems, and then my goal was achieved. So the outcome is really staying on top, staying sharp and staying intuitive, which is a big part of my research, is basically intuition and coming up with solutions to problems. And I kept that, and I love that I can apply my research mentality into solving problems. And of course, meeting people. I mean, I get to travel, I get to meet people, I get to be in such a cool projects like chess boxing last weekend, which I got pulled into like 2, maybe 3 weeks before the whole event.
Wow.
And I mean, come on, like I could never have imagined that I will be in a boxing ring, officiating chess. So it's just, the world is open, and you can really enjoy some great opportunities.
So let's take a moment here and let's talk about chess and opportunities here, because the question that comes up at times when parents are considering chess, and there's so many other activities out there, right? There's sports, there's all kinds of things. We always have to make choices. What is it whenever you say yes to something, you say no to pretty much everything else that would have taken up that time. And so sometimes I get the question, and love to hear your take on this. It's like, can chess be a career? Should we pursue this for the career? And most of the time I say, don't do it if you're trying to make chess playing your financial outcome. right?
Yeah.
So, and that's just kind of known because of you don't get paid very well, not very well that way. And there's more opportunity now with chess streamers and things like this, of course. But what would you say to someone like that? Why should they do chess if chess itself is not the career opportunity?
So if you would like to direct or arbiter or organize besides playing chess, obviously it's a really great and fulfilling weekend activity. So
Yes.
it's side activity. And yes, everyone has to, or everyone probably will find their passion, what they're passionate about, and support that cause, whether that's the local PTA or local cancer society or a retired living, whatever you find your passion, it's you have to find it. I found chess, and chess, it brings me to places and meet with people, and I'm very much a connector, and very much would like to meet new people, and that's why I chose that. I think if you're a people person, if you would like to meet with new people, go to places, I think that's a very, very rational and very good angle. The other thing is helping kids. Kids are so fragile in terms of directions. So if you can show them a good direction where they can apply these skills later in life, whether that's organization skills, whether that's problem solving, or just time management. I think these three are crucial, even entering high school: time management, problem solving, and organization. If you don't have these, you're going to fail in high school and you will not be successful, I feel. So I think guiding the kids, that's always really, really rewarding. And I mean, what better project to invest your volunteer effort than kids, right? So
that's awesome. That's really well put. I love that. Some of those key skills that a person will develop if they enjoy and want to pursue and get better in chess directly will translate into the kind of skills that will help them flourish in high school and college. So that's awesome. So let's switch here just a little bit. You are obviously with a background in the STEM fields, right? Scientist, data analysis, all these kind of things. We love interviewing so many people who come on who are in the chess field, have STEM careers. And you and I partnered on a project with some others in exploring this connection between chess and STEM. Do you mind talking about that project a little bit and what we discovered through that time?
Absolutely. So I think it was 2018 December. I organized the Pan Am Intercollegiate Championship, which is the once a year big championship for college chess players, college chess teams, and they gather around. Usually, it's between Christmas and New Year's Eve. This coming year is actually right after New Year's Eve in Seattle. And basically, chess players, college chess players, come together and play chess, which, by the way, is so much fun and really keeps you young because interacting with college players.
Absolutely. And I'll add, when we're seeing the Pan Ams here, we're talking teams representing colleges from Canada, throughout North America, throughout Central America.
So it's a northern continent, I think Northern American continental championship. So it's not just a US. So and then when we did that tournament, you approached me with this really interesting project to really draw a conclusion about the college students' major and chess, and what majors do they have, will they finish or likely to finish, and what year they are at and things like that. And I mean, the results, as far as I can remember, was crystal clear, right?
Yeah, it was really a neat project because we had this collaboration with Florian from Amazon, leading the Amazon Chess Club, and now he's at Twitch, and in fact he's now hosting the Pan American
Yes,
Collegiate
he's the
Championships, right?
organizer. So
And if I recall correctly, now we did this for 2 years in a row, so it also would not have just an anomaly in 1 year.
yeah,
Where we did this survey of all college chess competitors in the Pan Ams and that correlation to what
yeah.
types of careers. And I forget the exact percentages, but it was an extremely high percentage correlation to STEM
Yeah.
careers.
So if you have math, science, physics, computer skill oriented mind, yes, you will be more passionate about chess. I do want to highlight, though, that just because you are not really strong in STEM, that should not stop you exploring the game. And my middle one is a perfect example. She's artistic. She's singing, she's drawing, she's doing everything. But she loves playing chess because it's social. It's social skills. And especially for girls, I think social interaction is important. And if you can find your little hub, which I know both of us would love offering girls a safe space and a comfortable space for them to play chess. I think that's also a very nice way to really bond and make new friends.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Judith. And in some ways, we try to draw that out, saying it's not just STEM connection, there's STEAM, right? You include that the arts involvement, and absolutely the opportunity is there across the board for people to utilize those benefits. And the creative side of chess is beautiful to see, right? It takes imagination as you think through ideas, not just a calculation. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Well, that is awesome. And the outcomes of that was really fun to see. I don't know if how much you've seen this, but I've noticed that more and more interest from companies like computer science companies and different ones. And then, of course, the colleges that have been sponsoring chess for a long time. And here we have not just the STEM ones, but we also have some that are non-focused in STEM, but still love sponsoring chess students.
Yes, and I love seeing the corporate leagues popping up and being really successful. So kudos to Charlotte Center, and also Florian Neff is doing a really successful one too. Can I brag that chess.com is sponsoring the College Chess League?
Of course.
and a huge kudos to Joe Lee. He's heading that, and it's amazing to see the college students being really enthusiastic about that. So it's really great to see the companies sponsoring these and really investing them and hiring these chess players. So
yeah, absolutely. And while we're on this topic of the social connection, it is fascinating to me as well, the positive outcomes that chess can do, because sometimes the perception of chess for many decades, at least in the US, was, that the chess players were a little bit reclusive or isolation, but not in the recent past at all. Right. It is becoming the opposite. Chess is becoming that field for interaction and connection. And it's awesome to see that. So we talk about the social emotional development and opportunities through the game of chess. And let's just segue here into some of these direct life skills. At Chess4Life, we talk about 10 different life skills, and we talk about things like, the mindsets of success. Like you can win, you can draw, or you can learn. Right? It's building that growth mindset, that willingness to fail, which we say stands for first attempt in learning, right? It's your fail fast, fail forward, improve, get better, don't be afraid of it. And I would like to highlight just one of these life skills because of the social aspect. We love to talk about better together, because much as a chess game is an individual activity playing on the board, there's so many opportunities to think in terms of team, right? Both your pieces working together, And then in team events or in putting on events, it requires a huge team of people with their strengths working together. And so chess is awesome that way. Can you talk about some of this organization that you do? You know, you've
definitely.
you've hosted some amazing events. If you don't mind sharing a few of those, and then talking about your current role and what you're doing with chess.com, right? The biggest chess website. I'd love to hear more on that.
Yeah. So before I dive into the events that I organized,
Sure.
and I love that, let's touch on that team aspects, right?
Sure.
It's like the team of colleagues, team of players, your chess team.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's important if you're a player to belong to a chess club, because you belong to a chess team and you can talk and support each other. But if you are not if you choose the directing, the arbitration, there's an amazing group of arbiters, and I'm so happy and lucky to have some of the best friends out there in my arbiter friends group, starting with Martha Underwood, with Glenn Panner, and all Brian Yang, and all kinds of other arbiters. It's really amazing, and I'm learning so much. And we inspire each other. I think we keep learning from each other. We discuss problems, and we are not afraid of pulling our curtain down and our guard down and say, hey, I don't know the answer. Can you help me? And together we become better and better every single month. And I love that. So just keep that in mind. As a chess player, you have your teammates helping you get better. And if you are arbiter like me, and if you're interested in by the way, we need more female arbiters. So if you guys want to do that, and I mean, being an arbiter and being an organizer really opened the opportunity to some amazing tournaments. Pan Am was one of the highlights of my career. I also immediately after organized a very inclusive a high-level tournament with Arun Sharma. I loved working with him. That was the Bay Area International Championship. But ever since, we had interesting projects like the Northern California Invitational with Jim Eade, like the Susan's many tournaments that I was so fortunate to organize, and I can't thank Susan enough for the opportunities. One of them is the Girls Invitational, where she would invite one girl from each state to represent your U.S. state, and they are hosted and welcomed on campus for almost a full week, and can be together with their peers and just have a really awesome tournament as well as side activities. So I was really fortunate to be able to organize that with Susan and direct the tournament along with many of my other friends. Recently I joined chess.com this April, and while chess.com, my role is to connect with chess clubs. They also gave me some amazing opportunity to arbiter, and one of them was the Chess Global Championship finals in Toronto. We unfortunately had to move it online. It was supposed to be an in-person tournament, and we were set to direct it in person, but then we had to move online. And I told the guys, hey, we still can federate this under the hybrid conditions. And they were like, what? And I guide them through, and there you go, chess.com's first federated event. And so that was fun. And last weekend I was in LA arbitrating chess boxing, which is a whole different world, and going from a high level Nakamura with some of the amazing other players, and then going to chess boxers, which their rating was probably less than 400 or 500. So it was very, very.
Wow. That is something. And for those,
Yeah.
listening and going, what in the world am I hearing? It's worth Googling just to figure this one out,
Yes.
of how they alternate rounds of boxing with playing chess, and either a knockout or a checkmate wins the match.
Yeah.
Who came up with that? I don't remember the history. I remember hearing about it, but that is something else. Yeah. So many varied experiences, right? It's like, as you mentioned, find your passion, pursue it, and the doors that it can open is so amazing. So as we're getting close to wrapping up here, though, you've done so much. You're still so involved with chess and organizing and pursuing your own certifications, right? You're getting to the highest levels of certification for arbiter, organizing, tournament directing these events. It's awesome to see the progress of what you've been able to accomplish.
Thank you.
But you shared some tidbits for people about these transferable skills, pursuing your passion, being organized, all these things. What else would you say to someone young who's considering, where to go, what to do? What is the key in your view from a mindset to accomplish in any field? Because here you've done great accomplishments in chemistry, right? In your education, now in chess, everywhere you go. What is your mindset?
Well, the mindset, I think it's easy, but it's really hard to achieve, is to work hard, right? Work hard until you're tired and then go to sleep, and then start it again. I mean, really, unfortunately, there's no easy way around to achieve and getting these achievements or results. You really have to work hard, not give up, never give up. And if you hit roadblocks, just try to solve those roadblocks, or find some help with your friends or family. And I think anything can be achieved. There's certainly a lot of problems out there in the world. There are a lot of things that can put a stop to your vision and goals. But I think I do believe in the power of intuition and the power of problem-solving skills, and that will help you. And do rely on your friends and family. I mean, I could never have done anything in my life without my husband. He was there with me when I was doubting myself if I can finish my PhD with two and a half kids. Third one was in my belly, and he said, yeah, you can finish and I'll help you. So rely on those helps, because nobody can do anything by themselves, and the family is very, very important for support.
That is awesome, Judith. And what I'm hearing you say is the things that I've seen hold true in my own pursuit of chess, as I see with others. These combination of elements, this aspect of collaboration, right? How critical it is that we need each other. It's always we, not me. Yeah. And then on top of that willingness to turn every failure and difficult experience into a learning experience. Yeah. And then layer that with the can-do attitude, like we talk about, where you go into it with a mindset of I can, and I expect success. And even when I don't get success, I learn from it. So I'm willing to do it. And like you even shared, at times when you might feel like you can't, the critical nature of a team comes together, because that is where you can be encouraging each other, supporting each other until can-do attitude comes back in. So I love hearing this.
Yeah, and just I want to warn everyone, the danger of social media. What you see on the social media is nothing what it seems they make it so easy. And even if you go to my social media, I post fun pictures from here and there, and probably it seems so easy. No, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of struggle. And believe me, I come home and I said, my husband, can I do this? Oh, I don't know how I will do this. Or calling up my daughter said, help me, and just don't be afraid of relying on your closed ones or your friends for encouragement. Share your struggles with them, because if you share your struggles, they can help you go through this. And and you will find extra energy that will cross that line and then achieve your goals. And always set goals. I feel that it's in arbitration in directing world, it's really easy, sort of natural. Okay, your club TD, your local TD, your senior assistant national for US, or FIDE arbiter, international arbiter. Always set goals, and once you achieve it, celebrate it, and then start another goal.
Yes.
So, for example, I got my IA title, international arbiter. Well, when people can say, okay, that's the highest. No, that's like a baby arbiter, baby international arbiter. Now I have to arbiter C, arbiter B, and arbiter A. So there's always goals. And if you say, okay, you're finished with one project, find another one and see, okay, how you can help. And how you can find some fun projects, new projects. So
that's awesome, Judith. It's like you're expressing all 10 of the life skills we talk about at Chess4Life here, right? The importance of goal setting and then planning to achieve, the importance of always improve, never just resting on your laurels of, hey, I'm fully achieved, so I stop. No, always grow, always get better. And I'm so glad you briefly mentioned the fakeness so many times of social media, because who wants to post things of failure? And yet that's where we learn the most. Yet what do you see on social media? It's always this, looking the best, right? Things can be photoshopped. It's not real. Almost like in a chess game, if you make a threat, but it's not really a good move, right? It's a fake threat. And so it can look dangerous or look interesting or look fascinating or trying to, it's hope chess, like we like to say, instead of strategic chess. And it's important in life to be strategic in life. So anyway, this has been fun. And as we're running low on time here, I just have a couple last questions. And while I'm doing that, I want to remind everyone, remember to like and subscribe on the channel if you want to be notified of other amazing stories about all these things. So a couple of things. What is the next big accomplishment? You're a person of goals and big accomplishments already. Where do you see yourself, or what's one of your big goals for the next, let's say, even up to 10 years, if that far out?
Oh, that's a good question. I personally actually don't like to plan too far ahead.
Okay.
Because of the volatile nature of, I don't even know whether we're going to live in the US in 3 years, for example. There's a good chance that we're going to move back to Hungary.
Sure.
But my next immediate goal for 2023 is to really start organizing tournaments that are good quality and just bringing people together, whether that's through chess.com or whether that's through helping other organizations thrive. There are some really new organizations coming up, like 1000 GM, which is a nonprofit, and they are offering free quality tournaments for norm seekers. So things like this, I am really passionate, and that's where I see my near future of helping them and encouraging them. And then bigger collaboration. One of my bigger goals is to really connect chess clubs around the world, not just in the US too, and then around the world, and really create that organizer club admin network that I don't really see actually. And I feel that, like, if you're an accountant, you belong to the Professional Association of Accountants, right? Things like that. I think there has to be an association for chess organizer, chess club admins, chess arbiters, and things like that. So I think that would be my immediate goal. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And I appreciate that, right? Sometimes we can set a goal so far out, it is less meaningful due to how rapidly the world is changing.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. So thank you for sharing that. Awesome. So two last things here. One of them, how can people follow along with some of this interesting work you're doing? Can you point where people can go find more info or follow your work? If there's a link you'd like to share, we can post it in comments. You could mention it here if you like.
I have an Instagram page and a Facebook page. Facebook, I do mix it with family and personal life and professional. Instagram, I'm trying to keep it more about my arbiter work. And so if you want to follow along, and you can send a message, or you can send a comment there, and I'm happy to help. I do have my private email, my last name @gmail.com. And I do encourage anyone to, if they have any questions, just reach out, and I'm happy to mentor almost everyone. Let's say almost. I've been mentoring a lot of students how to become arbiters and directors, chess clubs, how to form a chess club, how to start your own tournaments. I'm really passionate about seeing more and more popping up in the US. And so I really encourage anyone who are interested in organizing, reach out to me, and I can give you that push, a little bit of push, and you can do it on your own. So
That is awesome, Judith. And the last question I love to ask people is, knowing what you know now, what kind of advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. A lot of people have been contemplating whether it's worth it to pursue your master's or PhD or not. And we are at this point with my oldest one, because she's going to finish it. I do believe in titles. I know it sounds very elite and very maybe a little bit negative, but that shows your work. So don't be afraid to put in time and energy to achieve a certification, achieve either whether that's a course and certified, whether that's a master's or a bachelor's, or set your goals and achieve that. I would like, if I could do it again, I would have finished my PhD a little bit faster, or I would have concentrate more on being a certified TD, which I was slow to start with. And I'm not a certified organizer, for example, with FIDE. So focus on achieving things that you can show the world that you're good, right? Because I think having an experience is very important, and a lot of companies thankfully look at your experience, but at the same time you stand out if you have certifications. So
I appreciate that. Thank you, Judith. I've heard sometimes there's a pushback against pursuing college degrees because so frequently people do not actually fulfill their career in that area of study.
Yeah.
And yet it has long been my belief that one of the key values of those degrees is simply the character it shows.
Exactly.
Of someone who's willing to set a goal and persevere through all kinds of things in order to accomplish it. And these degrees do represent significant problem solving, commitment, follow through, the kinds of things that are essential anywhere you go. So transferable skills as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure having you on, Judith. Thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. And once again, to all those listening, remember to like, subscribe, and follow our channel to listen to many more stories of amazing transformation using the game of chess throughout our world.
Thank you so much for having me.